whether it's, physical movement of the nines or just taking breaths or calling in the directions, those become, in my life, signposts. Those are checkpoints. Am I doing this? Am I not?
Yeah.
And 99% of the time when I'm feeling out of alignment, it's because I've stopped one of those and I've gifted my energy to something else.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about being a monk and spending all day doing one thing. We're all busy. We have all these realities we travel through, but how long does it take to put my hand on my heart and go?
Yeah, come back to oneness, come back to wholeness, come back to center, because these are practices. This is a big piece that people often miss. Like, this is a practice because we're not perfect and we know we're not perfect. Yeah. And integrity, believe it or not, to be a man of integrity, it actually takes practice. And what that practice can look like in our sense is accountability, like making agreements and keeping each other accountable. If we're not practicing this as young men or part of our basic education of what it means to be human, because we're not in tribes, then we got to figure out ways to practice it. Because I would say all of us in some area of our life is out of integrity, just as a baseline. As I'm saying, no one's perfect. Yeah. That acknowledgement gets to be made up front. And so having simple practices, and honestly, you can't really, it's very difficult to explain what we do because it is a felt experience. But knowing that it's practice and approaching it from that mindset of like a student mind, a hollow vessel, just to like absorb and to be in a new situation, to have that pattern interrupt, as some call it, it's important. It's important to get out of the monotony of the life that we have created around us and to practice again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like go out in the woods and practice so you can come back to your life and crush.
Exactly.
Crush it.
Exactly.
Like, and there's a block for men to do that because it's for a lot of us and the doers, and I'm one of them. It's like, I can't even make the time because I'm carrying it all. I'm holding it all the time. But the big flip on that is like, you wouldn't believe what 4 days of being with some good brothers and having meals cooked for you and being out in nature, which we're about to be on Gambier Island, one of the most beautiful places I've been. Sequoias, redwoods, pine, cedar, water. You would be astounded at how much those 4 days will actually serve your life, your family, your job, your vacation, all those boxes. Like those 4 days are going to it's actually going to fill those boxes with presence. That's what I found in my journey with the work. Like I get to go, oh, cool. Let me come back to my own oneness and wholeness and really fill the spaces I enter with presence.
Absolutely. And I think, we're speaking about discipline and we're also speaking about devotion and devotion to self. And often, in my experience in the world, the notion, here I'm going to rhyme a little bit, the notion of devotion.
That might be the podcast title, the notion of devotion.
But has become a piece that appears selfish. It appears this person's they don't care about the community of care. They're only doing it for themselves. Here's the flip. Here's the reality. If I'm not devoted to myself, I can't be devoted to anyone else. When I first went to one of these events, I remember C3. So I'm walking around. I got a journal with me. I was told, bring a journal. My beloved said, bring a journal. You're going to want to write things down. And I was like, okay. So I'm here starting to feel emotions. I don't know what's happening. My chest is jittering. And I'm opening my journal and I look around. There's a bunch of other guys with little journals. So I walk over to a buddy I'd met there. And I said, hey, what are you writing about? And he looks at me and he goes, man, that stuff in there, that stuff, Kevin Walton was were you listening? I was like, my brain exploded. I'm trying to remember it all. And I did the exact same thing. And I see this with men who come to Madeline. You see them, they're writing it down. I said, what are you writing down? I'm thinking, they're writing down, this is how my heart feels. No, it's not that. It's, okay, first you do the breath like this. And then you do this. And at first, I thought to myself, why am I writing this down? But I did anyway. I wrote it down because it's a roadmap for when I came back until it became embodied in me. So that I could look and go, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, there is a difference when I do this. Oh, okay. It wasn't just in Jacumba. Because as you beautifully said, 4 days has changed my life drastically in all the good ways. And what I mean by that is not all the easy ways, all the good ways in that I'm the man now who I knew I could always be, but I didn't know who that was because I never took time to sit and go, oh, okay, how am I feeling? Interesting. Okay. What's been missing in my life? I haven't been eating well. I've been not exercising. I've been forgetting to express gratitudes, which is what I used to call prayer. Because prayer for me, in a church, I grew up going to the United Church, quite a left-leaning church here in Canada. And for me, prayer was, okay, I got to know the verse. And I got to say it to someone or something that I'm not really feeling a deep connection to. So I started just expressing gratitudes. And through that became my own personal practice of prayer. Sometimes my prayer is all gratitude. Sometimes it's many other things. Doesn't matter what it is. It's doing it. Just do it, right? This is not a Nike commercial, but I'm just saying, just take the things that are aligning for you. And for me, things that align for me are usually not the ones I want to do. They're the ones I need to do.
That's the hard part.
That is the hard part.
You're talking about creating a practice, bringing it back to that word. It's like, come train, practice, and then create your practice, whatever it looks like, for you, for your timeline, for your family, and value that is worth it, and allow the practice even to evolve over time.
Absolutely.
As they do.
Absolutely. And I think with that, when a practice is discovered, implemented, and embodied, what you get is the truest expression of a person. And when someone is in their truest expression, they become that hollow bone. They're not holding. They're not overdoing. They're just being.
What's your go-to practice? Are you a cold plunge guy? Are you a prayer guy? Are you go out in nature, sit by a tree? Like, it doesn't have to be the daily, I don't want your morning routine. What is that ritual that resets you, bar none?
It's wildly simple, and I'd had it with me my whole life, but I didn't actually recognize it as a practice that reset me until C3. It's putting my hand on my heart and taking a few deep breaths. I do it in the car. I do it longboarding. I love cold plunging. I love these other practices, but that is the one. For me, the practice that works needs to be accessible, needs to be something I can do anywhere at any time. And it needs to help to regulate what's going on in my body. I'm an expressive man. We live in a very expressive environment. I spend a great deal of time in my body doing, and I love that.